So I'm Melanie Cochrill. I teach ASL, American Sign Language. I also teach computer science. I'm a high school teacher in New Haven.
New Haven,
Michigan.
Michigan. I thought Connecticut.
No, New Haven, Michigan. Very
Okay.
small town.
All right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, there's multiple. All right. I'm sorry. My geography brain went somewhere else. So how long have you been doing this, Melanie?
I've been teaching. This is my 20th year teaching. I've been teaching ASL for 10 years.
Okay. All right.
Which Michigan accepted ASL as a world language option about 11 years ago. So
okay.
Before
So
that,
you're
it
not
was-
necessarily teaching ASL to students who are deaf.
correct.
Okay. You are
Correct.
teaching it to those who want to learn the language.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. Okay. I don't know why I had that misconception in my head.
A lot of people do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Made
So
me
it's a
feel
world
better.
language option.
It's a world language option.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. So I have to ask, well, first and foremost, welcome to the show. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
greatly appreciate it. This conversation came about at Starbucks across the street.
It did.
Yeah.
It
And
did.
now here we are an hour and a half later, actually recording. So I have to ask, why did you decide to wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm going to go down the ASL route.
Good question. A lot of people ask that. It's not a very popular choice. I moved from a small school in Elmont to Port Huron Northern High School in the middle of high school, and I was already taking Spanish, so I also thought I would take French. I really enjoyed learning languages. And then a friend of mine in high school said, well, they have ASL here, you should learn ASL. And I thought, well, sure, why not? Let's throw a third extra language in there. And a semester in, I decided, this is what I want to do. I want to teach ASL in a high school setting. I love this.
Really?
Unfortunately, the state of Michigan started doing some cuts, and as ASL was an elective, not a world language option, a lot of positions got cut. So it took me a while to get here, but I'm glad I'm here now.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here and serving the space that you are very niche in what you do and what you teach.
Yes.
And you are a needle in a haystack, and you're a diamond in the rough,
Well,
because
thank you.
that I can't think of any other ASL teacher I know.
Yeah, often when I come to the McCall conference or other conferences, usually the McCall is the big one.
Yeah.
I walk around and the vendors are like, oh, what do you teach? They're ready to give you their spiel. And I said, oh, I teach ASL. And they're like, oh, well, that's interesting. I can't help you. I'm
Have
like,
a
I
sticker.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have a
exactly.
sticker and a pen, and please get on out of here. Yeah.
But yeah, it's usually they're kind of taken aback, like, oh, I've never heard that one, or that's not anything we've thought about helping.
Okay. So with your specific skill set, I sound like Liam Neeson from Taken. You have a very specific set of skills. So with your specific skill set, what is it that you are available to do in the district because of that?
So I have a teaching certificate and endorsements for ASL. I can
Yeah.
teach ASL throughout K-12. I can teach Spanish because I double majored. Because when I was in college, ASL was not a teachable major, so we had to choose something different. So I chose Spanish.
All right.
And then my master's is in instructional technology, so I also teach some computer science classes.
Okay. Now, as far as what you do with ASL, do you sign at different events for the district in that? I think that's where I was going more with the question.
So typically I only sign for our commencement ceremony. When I graduated from college, I asked if I should look at getting certified as an interpreter, and the college said, nope, that's not necessary. Michigan doesn't require it.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
I had never even met a deaf person until I got to college, so I really didn't know much about options and what I should do. My parents did not go to college before I started college, so I was kind of figuring it out as I went. And so I never got certified. So I am not a certified interpreter. I don't interpret for money. But I do interpret our commencement service, not because we have deaf students, just because on the off chance that there is a deaf family member that attends the ceremony, I like to try to just share that with them. I cannot imagine how incredibly boring it must be to sit and watch a bunch of people moving their mouths and not really picking up on anything that's being verbally said. And then you see your loved one crossing the stage, and that's the moment, and you sit there for the whole ceremony for that one moment. So I try to share the experience in ASL so that if we have deaf or hard of hearing people who sign and attend it, they can at least participate in what's happening on stage. We did just start our ASL Honor Society back up. Our high school is the only high school or college in the state that is currently a member of the ASL Honor Society. And so for March's Reading Month, I took my upper ASL classes and we went to every class from preschool up through 5th grade, and we read and signed some stories to kind of give some ASL exposure to all of the students. Some of the students in our district actually have cochlear implants, and so while they do not sign, I actually spoke with their mom, and she said she's very excited for when her girls get to 8th, 9th grade and they can start taking ASL as a language, that she's hoping that they'll choose that.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for just doing the commencement. It's not because that graduating class, like you said, has someone with the hearing disability or what have you, hearing impairment.
Correct.
It's because there just might be somebody.
Correct. I don't get paid extra for it. I could very easily be sitting with all of my colleagues just watching the ceremony, which is probably more comfortable. But I just really feel like if I'm going to teach this language that isn't mine, then I need to be doing something to give back. So that's my attempt at trying to say thank you to the people that let me use their language and teach others their language.
That's the thing of beauty there. And you mentioned something at the Starbucks across the street. You said something that really hit home with me, and I'm assuming that you say that statement on multiple occasions.
Sometimes, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
let them hear it. Let them hear it.
What I like to say is that you may not ever travel outside of the country in your life, but there is a chance that you can go deaf. Everyone has a chance of going deaf. And so knowing any ASL is going to be helpful, even just for you. Hopefully you meet other people that sign and you can use it with them, but just the simple fact that you could go deaf at any point. And honestly, I tell my students often when I hear their music in the hallway, I'm like, I'm glad you're learning ASL. You might need it.
That's funny. That's funny, scary at the same time. Yeah. You are correct. Yeah, that could happen at a drop of a hat for anyone. Now, this conference that we're at, which is McCall 2025, this is primarily an Edtech conference, educational technology. So I'm very curious, how has educational technology made its way into the ASL classroom?
It's a really good question. Well,
I thought of it, so it's got to be a good one.
It's a great one.
It came out of here.
So I did used to use Flipgrid a lot. Flipgrid has since died.
Rest in peace, Flipgrid.
I used Flipgrid a lot in the way that in class you can get only so much out of students. They're teenagers. They don't want to talk. Honestly, a lot of adults don't want to talk to each other. Mm-hmm. So it's hard sometimes to get students to talk not only to each other, but in another language they're learning. So what I liked Flipgrid about, and I've been trying to find some other tools that work the same way, is I will sign a question to them, the students respond, and then they have to respond to each other. So if I said, what's your favorite movie? A student could say, oh, my favorite movie is blah, 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 and then other students can chime in, all in ASL, but not on the spot in the classroom where everyone's watching them.
Yeah.
So it gives them a chance.
As I say it, present without presenting.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it gives them the chance to, if they make a mistake, back up, try again. No one saw the mistake.
Okay. All right.
I also use an app and a website called ASL-deafined, defined, not defined, that was created by a Michigan interpreter and ASL teacher. He uses all deaf people in the videos so that it is deaf people using their language. So students are learning from authentic signers. And we use that a lot. Honestly, McCall sometimes is about just the other things I can do. I do
like
teach
teacher productivity.
Correct. Like I do teach virtually from Michigan Virtual as well, and everything there is asynchronous. So I never sign real time with students.
Got it.
Everything is recorded.
Carly Delo, is she?
I don't know that
Michigan
one.
Virtual.
She might be. I think ASL is one of the biggest disciplines in Michigan Virtual. There's a lot of us.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. But I like to try to find ways to use technology to enhance my classroom, my face-to-face classroom specifically, because I really feel that ASL, it is literally a hands-on language, but like it's a face-to-face personal relationship kind of language.
It really is.
And I think asynchronous is very difficult. So I do try to find other ways to use technology there. But when I come to McCall, I'm really looking for ways to use it with my face-to-face students.
Got it. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Now, how many years would you say it takes to be fluent?
Sure.
And what does fluent mean in ASL?
So I would say probably 4 to 6 years
Okay.
to be fluent, but that's using it regularly. And fluent would mean that you are signing, you are able to understand and respond back in true ASL. A lot of people think that ASL is just English on your hands. It is its complete own structure. If you were to write out the signs or what the meanings of the signs in English, it's not going to be good English. Just as if you were to sign a completely proper English sentence in ASL, it would not be very good ASL because it's not ASL.
Got it.
So it takes a lot of training your brain, just like any other spoken language. You have to train your brain to conform to the structure of that language.
Okay, so I have this conversation with people at times with Spanish, specifically with music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, what did they say in this song in Spanish? That's so, like, why does everyone love that verse or what have you? And if I was to transcribe it word for word, it makes no sense.
Absolutely.
Because of the cadence, the pattern, the rhyme scheme. But if I take the essence of what's being said and translate that to you in English, you get a better feel and grasp of what the song is. It may not rhyme the way it rhymed in Spanish, but the essence and the message is the same.
That is 100%. ASL is about concept and not word for word meaning.
Okay.
A lot of times when people learn ASL, they try to say...
The gerbil that's running on the wheel is finally caught up. Okay.
So a lot of times when people are learning ASL, they'll learn this for run. Like, run.
Do that again?
Run.
And you have to go forward?
Yep. Oh. So you're running. But this doesn't mean the English word run, because if you think of the English word run, I like to run. I'm running for president. Yeah. My car is running. There's a run in my stockings. My nose is running. I have the runs. They all have different meanings. So ASL is about the concept. You have to really translate it into the concept. And that is, you laugh. My students laugh as well.
Oh my gosh.
Deaf people tend to be a lot more, just blunt, direct. They don't, English, and I think a lot of spoken languages.
There's a lot of fillers.
Yes, we try to finesse things, make them sound nice, and deaf people are but it is what it is.
You try to massage the message.
Yes, and deaf people are but that's what it is.
Per my last email, I hope this email finds you well.
Correct.
Rather than
this is what I said.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So run or my nose is running. They're different signs because they're different concepts. Runs.
Oh, it's the other way.
Because this would be poop and this would be running. You got the runs. It's a visual language.
It really is, and I'm so glad I have a camera to record all this. It's going to make a great clip. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm learning so much from you right now with this conversation. We talked about how EdTech has kind of made its way. Now for the past 2 years, education and the world in general has been dominated with just AI.
Absolutely.
Has it crept its way into ASL?
Yeah, it has. I see a lot more. The first step towards it was video interpreting. Well, we can't get an interpreter here, but we'll roll this cart with a TV screen on it, and that'll suffice. Well, it doesn't. We all know photos are glitchy. We've been on Zoom calls; they're not great.
Yeah.
But now we've got where apps are trying and motion sensing camera equipment is trying to sense and make those into AI signing, I guess, robot almost looking images and things like that. But the problem is, well, yes, you can train cameras to see those hand movements and the body. Oftentimes it misses the meaning because your face and your body language are really what give it the depth and the meaning. That's where all of the punctuation is. If you just do signs, it's just a bunch of run-on words. You have to use expression and body language to really give it meaning.
So even in sign language, in ASL, body language, they say is 75% of the conversation. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing.
Absolutely. If you were to not use your facial expressions when you're signing, it would be equivalent to just writing a page in text with no tabs, no periods, no question marks, no punctuation whatsoever, no spacing, just
no formatting whatsoever.
Words.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't know that.
a lot of these AI modules are trying to get like, oh, look at these great things we're making for deaf people to use, and deaf people are like, hold on a second, you're not getting the concept. Yeah, you can copy the hands, but the hands aren't where everything is.
Okay. All right.
It's kind of like you can learn how to read in Spanish. It doesn't mean you understand anything you're saying, but you might sound good.
Yeah. But the meaning
Is lost.
Intonation, everything everything else that comes into play and actually determines the meaning.
Correct.
I had no idea.
Most people don't because no one's learning it.
Okay.
Not enough people, I guess I should say. Not enough people are learning it.
How many sections of it do you teach?
I teach 2 ASL1s, 1 ASL2, and then an ASL 3, 4, 5. But we are a small school.
Okay.
We have about 350 students, 9th through 12th grade.
Wait, 350?
9th through 12th.
In the high school,
Yes, we're a small school.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I have about...
we have an elementary that's about 900 right now.
Yeah.
Just an elementary.
Yeah.
A K through 5.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
Michigan Virtual, I mean, most of our classes are somewhere in the 30 to 35 person range.
Oh, okay.
And those are students like throughout the state, which I appreciate that things like that exist because those students probably would never get that chance because their school can't offer it, doesn't want to offer it. There aren't enough of us that are endorsed in that to teach it.
That makes sense.
So at least, well, I don't think asynchronous is the best way to do it. At least they're getting it. Mm-hmm. If that wasn't an option for them, that would be that many less people learning ASL.
Yeah. All right. I have to ask. Is there a funny ASL story that you could tell us that you could think of, whether it be in your class or just an experience with you signing something? I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe something came off a certain way and it shouldn't have.
Something. Poop tends to be a pretty common sign that it seems like people who don't know much ASL know that one. A couple months ago, I was at a tech team meeting for our district. I'm on our district tech team, and we're all meeting and having, this discussion. And my kids are there because my kids are in district, and it's at the elementary, so they're off in the corner. And my littlest one, he's like, "You need to go to the bathroom." He's like, "Oh, yes, you need to poop. Please go on." And our tech director looked at me. He goes, "Did you guys have a full conversation just now?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Wait, you didn't say a word and you're both hearing." I said, "Yes." He goes, "Well, what did he say?" I said, "Well, he has to go to the bathroom to poop." And the whole conversation happened. The rest of the meeting kept going, and he had just happened to see the movement. But
oh my gosh.
Yeah, just little things like that. ASL is the deaf language, but it is useful even if you don't have that exposure to deaf people. It's a useful language.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that being somewhere where you're not taboo and you're not supposed to say anything, or maybe you're supposed to pipe down.
During COVID, when we couldn't visit with people, I could very easily sit outside my friends' houses. They'd sit inside and we get assigned to each other without having to worry about windows are down, we're breathing each other's air. We could converse with no issues.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense.
It's an extremely useful language, and I don't know why it isn't promoted more for more people to learn.
Okay, so I need you to give us your 30-second elevator speech. Okay, so
on learning ASL?
Here's the premise. Okay, you and I are in an elevator, and I'm going to the 3rd floor. We're both starting at 1, and I'm getting off on the 3rd floor. You're getting off on the 5th. So you've got about 30 seconds to try to sell me or anyone listening or watching. Why should someone invest time and energy into learning ASL?
All right, so
I push the button on the elevator, go.
ASL is one of the most used languages in our country. It's used in the United States and Canada. It is something that everyone can learn to do. Anyone can learn a language, but not everyone is going to be traveling. So learning to use ASL would be helpful because you could lose your hearing at any time. You could encounter a deaf person and offer communication to that person. You can use it with babies. Babies can sign well before they can speak. That's why a lot of people use baby sign, because there is communication happening before they can be verbal. You can use it when you are not able to use your voice to speak. In church, in school, in class, in meetings. It's an extremely useful language that is extremely underlearned. And it is one that, with technology nowadays, you can learn it face-to-face, you can learn it online, you can learn it in videos, you can learn it on your phone, anywhere you are.
Ding, third floor.
There we go.
Beautiful. All right. Yeah, you've opened up my eyes to just the misconceptions that I've had. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I was talking to somebody and they thought that sign language was just knowing the alphabet and spelling out each word.
Correct.
And I was like, I'm not an expert, but I'm
No.
pretty confident that that's not the case.
Right. There is something called Rochester method. It is not used much anymore. It was at one point, which every single word was spelled. You did spell everything. But that was back when deaf people were kind of held back and they weren't supposed to be signing, and they were really
Something was wrong with
pushed
you
down.
if you were deaf.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's luckily things have changed. People have realized that the only thing deaf people can't do is hear. They can drive. Many deaf people enjoy music. They can do all kinds of jobs out there. Students all the time are like, what do you mean deaf people can drive? I said, I've listened to your music when you're driving in front of me. You can't hear anything that's happening either. And yet you're driving.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sign language is pretty amazing. It's not just knowing the alphabet.
Okay.
And it's not just English.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Very interesting. Are there any resources or websites that maybe you could point anyone to who's maybe interested in learning a little bit more? Or maybe
Absolutely.
connect with you to learn a little bit more?
Like I said, I really love ASL-deafined. It's DEAFINED, like deaf-find. Like I said, it was created by someone who has been involved in the deaf community. He is a certified interpreter. He has taught the high school level. He teaches at the college level. He hired deaf people to make the videos for the app and website. So all of the videos are being signed by native signers, not just a hearing person who can sign.
Got it.
And it's very inexpensive. Like I said, it's a website and an app. You can go through lessons. You can use the dictionary. There's also cultural pieces because ASL is not just a language, just like Spanish is not just a language. There's always a cultural piece to a language. So there's a lot of cultural things in there as well. So you can actually learn about deaf people and their culture, not just signs.
Just the language, the signs. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Are you on any social media platforms that you'd like to share out?
I am actually not.
You're not?
I am not. Probably the biggest reason for that is I feel very blessed to be able to use ASL to teach other people. I do not feel that it's my language, and I don't really feel that it's my place to be out there doing fun videos with music and like sharing them out on YouTube. I know a lot of hearing people do. I personally just feel that's not my place. I appreciate the deaf people who have helped me get to where I am and can answer my questions when I have questions. I don't feel it's my place to actually get out there and share it. So I promote things like ASL-deafined, where I know that it's deaf people that are actually getting it out there.
All right. I'm going to push back a little bit.
Push back.
I could think of, in my head, I could see you maybe opening up like a Facebook group of ASL teachers to not make videos and things like that, but to support each other. If something happened and I was immediately put in a situation where I had to teach that, I personally would not know where to go other than a website. A website and an app will help me, but there's nothing like being able to connect with somebody who can give me that, hey,
that's fair.
I went down that route.
That's
Don't
fair.
do this. Try this.
So there are some Facebook groups for ASL teachers specifically.
All
Yep.
right.
And there's Facebook groups for everything.
Yeah.
There's ASL beginning learning groups.
Okay.
I'm in a couple ASL teacher groups, so we do share a lot of things together.
Got it. Okay.
I guess I could also plug, if you are local or you are willing to come to Michigan for a week, usually end of July, beginning of August, the Holley Family Village out in Brooklyn, Michigan has an ASL Immersion Week.
Okay.
It is extremely reasonable. I believe it is, I just paid last month, I think it's like $400 for a week. It's Sunday afternoon through Friday afternoon. You show up, you pay your $5 for your key deposit, and you basically are living there. You usually get a couple of roommates. They're bunk beds. You don't have to share beds, but you get It's nice accommodations. You get fed, there's classes, there's free time, there's social activities, and it's all done in ASL. You are allowed to split into whichever group you think you fit best, if you're more beginner or more advanced. The teachers help kind of, if you're like, I'm not really sure, they kind of work with you to figure out where you fit best. But if you really want to learn ASL, I've been to this camp, I don't know, 8 times maybe. I have met ASL teachers, I have met interpreters, I have met students trained to be interpreters, I've met parents of deaf children who are trying to learn ASL so that they can actually communicate with their child in their child's native language. I've met people who are going deaf and want to learn ASL before they lose their hearing completely.
Okay.
It's an amazing program, and it's so affordable compared to some of the things out there.
Okay. All right. So don't worry about pulling out your notes or what have you to write this information down. I will put this information in the show notes. That way you guys can click, learn more, and get connected. All right. Yes. I do have one final question for you.
Yes.
I ask this of about 90 to 95% of my guests. I would say 100, but I forget. So it's the most important question you'll be asked the entire conference by far. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
$1 million question. Okay. Corn tortilla or flour tortilla?
Flour tortilla.
Okay. All right.
Unless it's a street taco, then it has to be a corn tortilla.
Okay. Enough said. Enough said. I respect a good flour tortilla, but I'm team corn.
Okay.
So, okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you sharing your expertise. I tip my hat to everything that you are contributing to our educational space, specifically in the ASL section of our educational space for our students, our staff, and anyone who, like you mentioned earlier, just might be hearing impaired and will need that.
Well, so, thank you. I'm really glad that we met serendipitously.
Yeah, serendipitously. Yeah, that's right. Have a great rest of the conference and safe travels.
Thank you.
All right.